Canada and the U.S. have agreed to terms for the Nexus program, the Trusted Traveler program. They're going to reboot it. They're going to expand it. And the minister last night, very late last night, holding a briefing in Mexico City to explain the details. So we're going to hear all about that from JP Tasker, who's once again in Ottawa. And JP, we were flagging that this was something that might be possible to come out of the North American Leaders Summit. Indeed, it looks like we have a deal. What are the details so far on Nexus?
Yeah, there has been a bit of a breakthrough on Nexus, and that's a huge relief for frequent cross-border travelers, of course. Now, this program has faced a series of delays over COVID. There was a backlog of nearly 300,000 applications, and that was really stymieing Canadians that go over the United States fairly frequently. This is a popular program, Heather. 1.7 million people have a card. 80% of them are Canadians, and the reason why people want this card is because it allows them to not jump through so many hoops when they go across the border at airports or at the land border crossings. And now that this breakthrough has been announced, we have some more details. Essentially, though, the program is not coming back as it was initially structured. There have been some tweaks to how this is all going to play out. Initially, you only had to go for one interview with the Canadian Border Services, Agency Guard, and a U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer. You could do it all in one place. It was really easy to do. You only had to go to one enrollment center and get it all done. But that is not how it's going to be now. Now you'll have to go to two separate interviews at two separate locations. So a lot less convenient for people, obviously, because you can't just go to that enrollment center and get it all done in one shot. You have to now go to one place in Canada and one place in the U.S. Now, Marco Mendocino, the Public Safety Minister, is hopeful that that will not be how the program is actually rolling out later this spring. He's hopeful you can do both interviews at the same pre-clearance airport in Canada, but that has not yet been confirmed just yet, Heather.
So can you explain that, JP? Why is Canada reluctant to return to the way the program was structured before COVID?
Yeah, so there hasn't really been a clear explanation from Canadian officials as to why it will not return to the pre-COVID program, why you will not be able to do that one-stop shop at the Nexus enrollment centers. Because really what they're asking for, the United States wants some legal protections for its officers who are operating at those Nexus enrollment centers. Legal protections that already exist at pre-clearance sites at airports. So a lot of experts are saying, well, why is it okay at a pre-clearance site but not so okay at a Nexus enrollment center? Why is there this distinction there? And there really hasn't been an all that clear explanation from officials. Now, we did hear from Marco Mendocino last night, who said, well, there is a reason why, and it could be related to Canadian sovereignty. We don't really want the U.S. telling us how we're going to operate on our own soil. Take a listen to what he had to say late last night.
We've actually come up with a solution around powers and authorities that does allow those border officials on both sides of the border to perform functions that revolve around the screening and processing of Nexus applications, while at the same time respecting Canadian sovereignty.
So they don't want the U.S. dictating what protections are extended to U.S. border protection officials, essentially. But really, the problem is, Heather, that yes, the program is coming back. Yes, there has been a breakthrough. Yes, they will work through some of this backlog, will clear some of those 300,000 applications that have been pending. But it's a lot less convenient program than it once was. You're not going to be able to go and get it all one and done. You're going to have to go to those two separate sites on either side of the border for now. So a lot of travelers frustrated that Canada is not moving on those legal protections that the U.S. has been asking for.
JP, thanks so much. JP Tasker from Ottawa.